Hello and welcome back to Coder Junkies. In the previous video, we have typed our code for forms.py and models.py. We have created our project. So now in this video, what I am going to tell you is how to do migrations and then how to use Spotify API. So let's just begin. Before going to start, let me tell you that in the previous video, I just missed this statement from Django import forms. So I will request all of you to write this statement because we are using crispy forms. So we need to import them into our file also. Okay, so just use this. So now what we are going to do is we are going to just type python manage.py make migrations. This command will create a table of a model which we have registered in admin.py into our admin panel. You can see the model has been successfully created and a migration file 001 has been initialized. So now we are going to type python manage.py migrate so that all of the data which was entered will be stored into our admin panel. So as you can see, it is successful. So now the main task is let's just go to the views.py and let's just think what function we can use to grab that metadata. So for that, let me show you one thing. Whenever you search for anything in your Spotify web player, then you will find that so whenever you search for something in your Spotify web player, then you will find something like this kind of URL appearing on the top. So for every search, open.spotify.com is the same thing. The things which vary will be the type, whether it is artist or track or playlist, and this key value which is different, or I can say this ID value which is different for every entity in the Spotify metadata. So we are going to use this fact to create our own search. So let's just go ahead and define a function which will generate both these variable things. So let's just call this function as id generator and let's just pass whatever we have searched into this as a variable, and now we will tell this function that look, we have a id, a developer ID with client credentials as a client ID and secret. For client credentials underscore manager is equal to Spotify client credential Spotify client credentials client ID and underscore ID is equal to client ID, which we have used it like this, client ID and client secret is equal to client underscore secret. Okay, okay. Before defining this function, let us use a module which is present in Python to use Spotify. Let us download that module. Pip install Spotify. This is a module which have some functions defined, predefined, through which we can access those ID and those tracks. So it has been installed. Since I have already this module installed, so it will show it as installed already. So let me directly import that module from. Firstly, we will import Spotify. Spotify. Then from Spotify dot OAuth. OAuth is basically OAuth 2. OAuth 2 is basically a login engine which will search for my ID and my client credentials in the Spotify website or developer account. And let me continue with the function. So now since we have used our client credentials in this variable, let's move on. So we will create a variable sp which is equal to spotify dot spotify. Remember, Spotipy is the Python module and Spotify is the API which we are going to use. So it will contain client credentials, client credentials manager, client credentials underscore manager is equal to client credential underscore manager, the same as this. Okay, so let me type it, client credentials underscore manager. Okay, so it is basically a Spotify object to access API. It is a Spotify object to access API. This SP object will access our client ID and client secret to search for the track type, artist type, playlist type, and their ID. So let name is equal to the search. This search, it is basically a character which has been passed, which we type. Name is equal to the search. It could be anything. It could be chosen artist, song, or anything. Chosen artist, song, comma, playlist, anything. Okay, and we will store this. We will store the type and the ID related to this search into a map. Okay, map which is results, I will define this map in the next function name. Okay, so it will search for the query and it will return a ID and type. This result variable will order SP to search for this query's ID and type. Okay, so let's just go ahead and type that if basically this result is an array of 5-dimensional array, if the result is of type track, okay, then fetch its item 0. That is the most similar string search. Fetch this and it artist of this artist, and if the search type, what I want to say is that if the search type name is equal to the name of the track which is present in the first artist of this 5D array, then just return the ID of that array, result of track slash item slash 0, then artist, then 0, then ID. Artist 0, then ID. What this says is that if the name of the track, which is the 0th element of artist array, is same is equal to the name search, then please grab the ID of the track which is present in the artist array of track array. Okay, it's a little bit confusing to imagine, but imagine that a result is basically a array embedded in array, which means that firstly it will be a generic array of different artists, then in that there will be sub array of different tracks. So if the search thing is a track, then it will first check to the names of the artist. If it is not matching with the names of the artist, then it will go to each and artist sub array track and it will search there. And if it finds there the name which is same as the name of the query, then it will return the ID, and same in this way it will also return the type, which is track. And we will just write a return statement showing type comma ID. Or if this if statement doesn't work, if one has not entered the artist name, then we will search. If one has not entered the track name, then we will search for the type, whether it is for artist or whether it is a type of album or a type of artist. So let's see that. If the track let me just copy and paste from here. Aleph, if the result of track item 0 is not an artist, it's a the type is of album. If the type is equal to album, okay, then just return ID and type as two different things. Then return items ID and items track. Else if the type is of track, Earlier I told you if the type is of artist, then it will return artist. If the type is of track, if the type is equal to track, then it will return artist first, artist arrays first elements id, and artist arrays first elements artist elements first arrays type. Okay, so it will return that. Else, if you have searched for some garbage that is not present in in the list of songs, in those 7 million metadata based list, then id will equal to not, and type will also equal to found, and you will return not found as a simple statement. Okay, type comma id not found. Okay, so this was the function which will return the type and the key value. Now let's just define a function. Let's just define a function which will use this value to search, which will use this function to display the results. Okay, so let's just define a function search bar, which will take the request which you have entered, and your search query will be equal to the search form search form. If you have entered something, then request will equal to request dot post, or it will equal to none if you have not entered anything. Okay, okay, so before using this, let us import those two things. First is from dot models import search bar, and from dot forms from dot forms. Okay, what's going on? I think my computer is hang. Oh my god. From dot forms import search form. Okay, so let's just import these two things, and now we can use it so that no error shall be shown. So if the form gets a request, if the form gets a request, method as post if you submit a request. Okay, if you submit a request, then we will call this function def id generator. Firstly, we will save our query into the admins panel, so that if you search for it again, then results would be easily displayed to you. We will save it. Then what we are going to do is we are going to create a map of key and value and call this function id generator, and it will contain the search underscore result dot search. It will carry our search query and will return the key and id value if key is equal to not, which means that none of the query is found. So we will simply return else. Else what we'll do is we will pass a context into our search page. You know what is meant by context page? I will show you all these things into my search.html where I have used it. Key as key, comma में value as value. Okay, simple. Till now it has been very simple. And what we will do is we are going to return render request comma search.html comma में context is equal to context. Okay, context is equal to context. Okay, we will pass the context, or you can also write context simply if you don't want to write like this. Okay, so this was the thing. If we have entered something into the search bar, then what is going to happen? Then these two functions, search bar and id generator, are going to be called. But firstly we need to store the data from our main page. Okay, so for that just move to your class home view and type search is equal to search form. So here whatever has been searched would be saved, and just define a context in your get function, and I will just show you why we are defining this context in a little bit minute. Self dot. Okay, okay, so let me go to my index.html and I will show you why I have defined this context. So here you can see I have defined this form which is taking the action of search bar. Once you have typed something into my search bar, then this search bar function will be called, which we have earlier defined, and that form which I was talking about is just loaded due to CSRF because it is a crispy form. Here the search tag means that you need to load this information, this widget, this search widget. So I am using my views.py to tell Django that I have defined such widget search. You just need to load that widget which is named as search into my index.html over here. Okay, and the same is the thing which I have done with search.html also. I have told my search.html that see this key and value are some kind of context which contains a value which has been stored by def_id.generator into my def search bar function. Okay, so let me just quickly tell my urls.py of search that I have these two things, that is home view search path. Okay, let me first import it from search song, from search song dot views, import home view, comma में this search function, search bar function. And once this is called, we are just going to include it by saying simply search bar, comma में name is equal to search bar. So what urls.py will do that it will display on the top of the Google Chrome like this. Like this URL has been displayed when you search. It will display on this place. Look, I have my localhost. Then if the path is slash, which means that it's my main page, and if the path is slash search, which means that I have done the search work. Okay, so this was all about the Spotify search music app. We have completed most of the code. With this, we have reached to an end to our project, and it's time to run it. So let's just write python manage.py run server and check it. Okay, so server is running fine. So let's just go to our Chrome and open it and see what's in the bag of Spotify. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and if you liked it, then don't forget to subscribe my channel. And for more such videos, you can just comment and we are going to post it. So I will search for Eminem as usual because it's my favorite. And you can search for any of your favorite artist, song, whatever you want. You are free to search now. You have just completed a nice project to be displayed on your resume in just around 50 to 40 minutes. So it might take some time due to my slow net connectivity. In your case, it shall not be taking too much of time. So here is the result for top track of Eminem. Okay. Thank you so much for watching my video. Hope you guys enjoyed.